This one says, no, we've been building for abantu, so abanye abantu, so we'll meet him up there. I hate but Jabu, I was there for you. What the hell? Hey dolls, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. My name is Bernice, everybody's big sister, and welcome to my channel. This is the Sister Squad. All you have to do to become a member of the Sister Squad is just click that subscribe button, like this video, and make sure that you do not exit without leaving a comment, because that's what we do around here. So today I thought, let me do just a real talk, like a big sister talks, and let's have a real conversation about something that affects us on a daily basis, whether we admit it or not. So I did a poll on my Instagram asking you guys relationship questions related to building a man. So the topic of this video is basically, will you be willing to build a man? Are you willing to build a man? So I did my face for a TikTok video, my first ever makeup TikTok video. Please do go and follow me on TikTok, and also follow me on Instagram, and please please show me some love on that post. I'm really trying to get sponsored out here. This is something that I really love to do, and it comes easy, so please do support the girl. My lashes from Bougie Lashes are hanging in the air, but am I willing to take them off? No, I'm not willing to take them off. They're gonna ruin my look, so I'm keeping them on. And I feel like we're close enough for you guys to understand that they're floating in the air, and you're not gonna judge me about it. I know. I know. So anyway, what I did was I started off by asking you guys a few poll questions where you could answer yes or no relating to the issue of building a man. So the first question that I asked, just anyway, you guys, thank you so much for all the interaction where you guys participate in my polls and you guys actually reply to my questionnaire. It's really not that easy to get into action, especially when you ask for people to type in their response. It is very rare that people actually reply, so I'm super grateful for all those who took their time to reply, and those that send me huge DMs, like paragraphs that I was even lazy to read, but I read in my DMs. So I really do appreciate the interaction. Please do not keep it up, do not grow weary. I know there's a few sisters who are consistently always replying to my stuff, and I really truly appreciate it. So what I did was I literally wrote down, you guys, I literally wrote down all your responses, because my laptop is dead and it does coco, and I had no other device to view the DMs and the responses through. So I literally had to sit down and write down your responses in a summary form, and so that I could share with you guys for YouTube, because I do use my phone to shoot for YouTube. So the first poll question that I put up was, have you ever dated someone who needs financial help? And mostly this was obviously for women, right? So 69% of you girlies said yes. And considering the state of the country, considering the baggage that the average black boy has to carry throughout his life, it is so understandable why so many of them need financial help. Remember that for us, especially black girls, we obviously mostly dating black guys. Black guys are still trying to bridge a gap between apartheid and all the stuff that, why did I say apartheid like I'm American? Apartheid. And they are still bridging a gap between needing to help out at home and starting their own lives. A whole lot of our black brothers have to start by supporting their moms, their sisters, their siblings, and all of that before they can even think about starting their own lives. So it is totally understandable, and it's totally believable that 69% of the women that answered this poll have dated such a guy. So yeah, and I can also say I'm part of the 69. I've also dated someone who needs financial help. And then the next question was, would you date someone who is financially struggling? And 71% of you said yes, on the condition that he's ambitious. So that makes sense. I put that condition on the yes, because I know that it's not easy dating someone who's financially struggling, but it's much easier when you can see that this person is actively working towards becoming something more than what he is at that time. And then the third poll question that I asked is, if men had the same standards of that we have towards them, meaning they only date women with money, they only date women with their own homes, with their own cars, would you still be able to land a man? And 59% of you said yes, they would. Honestly, I fall into the 41% that said I doubt. because I feel like I would fall into the 41%, because I feel like the current my current financial status only accommodates my current financial situation only accommodates me. I can afford to take care of myself on condition that I live at home, on condition that I don't have kids. You know what I mean? So if I was in a man's position with my financial status, I wouldn't be able to contribute financially into anyone else's life, and I would have to date someone and bring them home to sleep in my back room. So I don't think that I would land a man. I don't know, maybe with my good looks, yeah. But other than that, I don't really think so. And then the last question that I asked via poll, yes or no answers, was, do you contribute financially into your relationship? And 74% of you said yes. Now, I agree with you, and I'm happy that there's so many girls who actually do contribute financially to their relationship. I know some of you that said no, you probably don't have to, because you're dating someone maybe who can handle it all, or insists on handling it all. Personally, for me, I don't feel like I financially contribute into my relationship. I contribute in every other way that I can, my support, my time, my manual labor and all of that, because my partner doesn't need me to support him financially. But I will say, my boyfriend has this thing of like, after he gives me money, or after he helps me with a delivery, because I usually use his car when I'm delivering for my business at Style 013. Please do check us out. We have all sorts of gifting for all sorts of occasions. So usually when I say, Coco, please borrow me the car, I need to go and do a delivery. When I come back, he's like, oh, Patali. So he sort of wants me to sort of share my money with him. And I know that he doesn't really mean it like fully, but he appreciates it when I actually say, Coco, I bought you this, or Coco, I bought this for the house, or you went around, so I bought this, I bought food, or whatever the case is. So I think that men really do appreciate it when you contribute financially into the relationship. So moving on to your responses. So a lot of you responded, no, I've been hurt by men, no, they usually move on to other people and whatnot. So I'm going to read some of the responses that were more in detail or differed from the typical no. So this one says, I would rather build with him. So that is a bit tricky, because if we're talking about a relationship where a guy cannot contribute, especially when it comes into the financial part of a relationship, if he cannot contribute at all, like he has nothing, zero, how are you going to build with him? You know, what if you're the one who has to carry the relationship financially? Then it's no longer a partnership. He's just consuming and you're the one producing. So it's not really building with him. I get it in a sense of maybe you met in varsity, you both started working around the same time, or you're ahead but he's still building. What if he has nothing at all? Then how do you build with him? Would you still stick around? That's the question. So this one says, okay, she sent me quite a paragraph, thank you, but I'm not going to read the whole thing. I summarized it. It says, it's a risk. It's important to have a talk with yourself before doing it, evaluating the risks involved. Think about the pros and cons, and if you're prepared mentally. And she says, I have enjoyed building with my husband because he's transparent about money, our child, and the future. See, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. It's easy, I think, it's easier rather, to be with someone who's still on the come up when they're so transparent. I remember I used to date a guy back when I was in high school, my high school sweetheart. He had nothing. Okay, so I was in matric, so I basically didn't really need anything money-wise. I didn't need help. I was still very much dependent on my parents and all of that, and I had an allowance and whatnot. So I didn't need him for any financial presence in my life, but he was so transparent about how he is looking for a job, how he doesn't have anything, he doesn't have airtime and whatnot, and I appreciated his transparency, and it made me feel very involved and very important to him because he was vulnerable with me, and it made me stick around. Even when it came to a point where I was able to make an income on my own, I was still able to stick around with him because I knew that he had been making an effort from day one to really get where he's going, and he was always transparent with me. So I guess transparency is a huge contributing factor. And this one says, forget that I'm broke. So clearly she has been burned and she has done it before. This one says, everything happens for a reason. We meet different people for different reasons, and only God knows why. I don't mind building a man. It's not only about money, but some men need building emotionally and mentally, etc. We also need to understand that building a man doesn't give us ownership over him. You do your part in a person's life. So this is really, really, really true. I've dated someone who needed financial help, and I've also dated someone who did not need financial help, but it was such an emotional mess, like in a mental mess, to the point where I felt like, has this guy ever been in a relationship before? Has he ever interacted with someone on a romantic level, like adults do, And I remember that I emotionally invested so much into the growth of that gent, that at some point I was like, oh, this is exhausting. I'm teaching him every day, this is how you talk to people. I'm teaching him every day, this is how you function in a relationship. I'm teaching him every day, this is how you involve your partner in your life, and etc. And I won't lie, it did pay off, but it does show that there's many ways in which you can build a man. And you can build a man emotionally, this amazing boyfriend to someone else, instead of being an amazing boyfriend to you. So it really is, it differs. And I believe what she says, Guti, it happens for a reason. Because Vele, you know what, we all need people to get us up the ladder, we all need, you can't do this life thing alone. So there are going to be people come into your life to elevate you. It doesn't mean that they're going to stick around. Right. So this one says not build but support. I get that. This one says, no, I'm too busy building myself. That speaks so much volume to me, because I feel like a lot of women take away from themselves to build a man. And that is not always about taking away money from yourself and giving it to a man, but it's also about emotionally growing yourself or improving yourself. But instead of doing that, emotionally investing in a guy, building yourself goes beyond buying things for yourself. It goes to like making time for yourself, having a life for yourself, spending quality time with other people in your life, and not focusing so much on a man. So I get it when you say no, you rather build yourself. This one says, yes, but only the one I'm dating now. He's special. I guess it also depends on who it is, right? So yeah, man, there are some people who are just worth it. From the get-go, this is gonna pay off in the future. So I guess in such cases, I totally support building a man. This one says, no, we've been building for abantu, so abanye abantu, so we'll meet him up there. I hate and especially for us women who are approaching 30, you've been through, typically if you've been in the dating scene for a while, from around, let's say from age 21, you've dated a couple of people, you've dated someone in varsity, you dated someone at your first job and whatnot, and you were patient with them because you understood that we were all in the process of growing. But then after a certain period, these people see other people and they become better people for them, and it's like, but Jabu, I was there for you. What the hell? So this one says, it depends on understanding the vision of the relationship and where it's heading. Yeah, I guess it's true. But then a lot of us, especially Black people, we don't discuss these things. We just date and we go with the flow. But it's very important to just sit down and figure out, what is the vision of our relationship? What is your vision, and what is my vision, and how do they come together in cohesion for the future? We don't often do that, but I think the older you get, that's the only thing that you want from a relationship. You want transparency, you want to be on the same page, you want to agree on what the future looks like. So I guess if you guys agree on that, then it's okay to build. Okay, this one says, yes, if he does so too, it should be a two-way street. Like I said earlier, what if he cannot? What if he cannot build? He cannot contribute anything other than his physical body, you know what I mean, or his emotional support. But I guess that's also building. There's certain people who are going to come into your life and improve it beyond the finances, but give you encouragement, give you value, give you support. There's different kinds of ways to build someone. Like I said, I remember the same guy that I'm telling you guys about that I dated, that didn't have much. He was one of the most supportive people that I've ever met. He supported the dreams that I wasn't even articulating. I remember him telling me, you should be on TV, you should be on platforms that are like media related, and at the time I wasn't doing anything that showed that I had interest in such a field. But look at me now, I'm literally a YouTuber, and yeah, in a way it is something that's media related. So there's different ways that people can contribute towards building each other. This one says, I tried Bangishia, so no more building, we just come and relax. So what, like abaning who say they won't build, clearly it's because they've been hurt in the past. And I think a lot of us would just rather come in, and move in. But let me just say, guys, kumnandi to just move in. I won't lie. Like I said, I've been with someone who was struggling. I've been someone who takes taxis to go see my boyfriend. I've been with someone who has a back room. I've been with someone who couldn't take me to the restaurant that I chose, but I had to go to the restaurant that he chose because I knew secretly that he knew he had enough money just for that particular restaurant. So after experiencing that and experiencing a cushiony kind of relationship where everything is sorted, all I had to do was just move in. I will say that kumnandi, guys. To be asked, where do you want to go, and not have any reservations. Ishmara, is he gonna be able to afford see a skyline? Is he gonna be able to afford see altitude? You know, it's quite nice to just come in and relax, but it's not always the case. And then this one says, no, I'm tired of being Bob the Builder. A man must now build me. Hey, a lot of people are tired of being Bob. I'm going to conclude with this one that says, okay, Nguli says, no, I don't have cement and bricks. I'm exposing Nguli because she's such a silly person. She always has the silliest things to say. You guys, this one is hanging on the edge. I'm on the edge of glory. Oh, and they're falling out. Anyway, this one says, my builder certificate burned, so I'm no longer a qualified builder. I feel like a lot of us are just no longer qualified to build, especially if you're in your mid to late 20s, you've been burned by men. But that's the thing, you guys. If we also think about it from a female perspective, myself, for instance, let me make an example with myself so it's like more relatable. I'm dating someone who's pretty well off, you know, and every now and then he asks me, how's business? How's your business? How can I help you? What do you need? Here's my car, go do your things. Here's my card. Do you need anything for your business? Do you need anything for yourself? Are you going out with your friends? Okay, here's some. Like, there's this help that I'm getting from my partner every now and then. I don't even want to hide it. So from a female's perspective, imagine if he decided that he didn't want to build me, or he was not going to contribute in any way to building me. Where would that leave me? I'm not saying but I am going to admit that there are certain luxuries that I just wouldn't have. So is it fair to say that I wouldn't build a guy? I don't know if it's fair. But I will say that it is okay to build a guy who's ambitious. And when I say a guy who's ambitious, I'm talking about a guy who wakes up every day, hustles, you know, a guy who wakes up every day for a CV, a guy who updates his CV online, a guy who says, baby, this is what I did today, a guy who you can actively see. If there's a guy in your life who needs building, but he's more of a parasite, he just sucks and sucks and sucks from you, in your life or any possible contribution in the future, then that's not worth it. The minute that you see Low, he's just taking and not giving anything, then you cut him off. I remember this guy that I used to date. I'm gonna keep referencing to him. He's one guy, by the way, guys. I've never dated more than one struggling guy. It's just one guy. And by the way, he's doing amazing right now. He's no longer struggling because he's been ambitious from day one. I remember he was so broke and his phone broke. That guy was like, no, there's no way that I can't have a phone. He went, guys, putting his CV everywhere and anywhere, and he landed a job as a packer at ShopRite. And he worked his butt off, guys, and he bought himself a phone. And I remember we've never been on a proper date. Let's go on a proper date. Ngachepa, color blocking, McDonald's, guys. So we dine in. I know I keep fucking knife in McDonald's, but the fact is we dined in. You know what I mean? So it just showed I'm gonna be spoiled. We're gonna do so much. He's gonna do sensible things with his money. And I've also dated someone who just didn't need me financially at all, didn't need my help, didn't need patience. He had everything, but he was emotionally immature, in my opinion. You know, dating him was like dating a 17-year-old, and I had to put in so much patience and so much work for him to get to an emotional level where I could literally have a successful relationship with him. So it just really depends what kind of building it is and the kind of person that you have to build. But I know that a lot of you have bad experiences with it, but I know that there are some of you who are shying away from building certain people in your life, but you could be shying away from the loves of your lives. So a little patience can go a long way. I think you sort of know in your heart, deep down in your heart, deep down, if you're really like in tune with your intuition and you're in tune with the Holy Spirit and you're in tune with what you want and your values, you will really be able to pick up who's worth building and who's not worth building, be it emotionally, mentally, or financially. So I hope you guys enjoyed this talk. Thank you so much once again for all the interaction, and I hope that I will get some interaction on this platform as well. If you didn't interact on Instagram, or you did and you just want to break it down further, please do comment down below. Don't forget to give this video a huge thumbs up, and I hope that you find fruitful relationships, that if you are building your person, that you do not get discouraged before the time of reaping is close, because that happened to me. I talked about it in my video about getting caught cheating on Instagram. If you have not checked it out, please do go check it out. So guys, have a little patience with your people. And I wish you all the best in your relationships. Thank you so much, sister girls. Love ya.